Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Andy and Ian Talk Networking. So I am Andy.
And I'm Ian.
Hey Ian, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. Doing great. It's
Good, good.
almost just a teeny bit cooler here in North
Almost.
Carolina today. Very exciting
Lots of
indeed.
rain, make it all go away. So, Ian, we've spent quite a number of weeks now talking about lots of different features and functions and kind of things that people need to understand when we talk about network observability and NetOps and SecOps and kind of how do we monitor what's going on within the network. But I thought what we'd do is we'd shake it up a little bit and start really talking about specific use cases that people see across different verticals and
Excellent.
and how do they use these kind of things that we've talked about to actually solve their observability problems and ultimately get the return on the investment that they're outlying, but also how can
Mhm.
they actually solve real world problems and get outcomes. So I thought we start off with a really simple subject, financial services. It's pretty simple, not a particularly regulated industry. They don't have anything that stops them from just doing whatever the hell they want. So I thought we'd just start there with a nice, easy, sarcastic comment about that. So let's think about some of our customers that we have today are obviously in the financial services sector. And these are not kind of day traders sitting at home just trying to make a buck here and there. These are very large exchanges and institutions where huge quantities of money are traveling throughout their network and out to smaller exchanges and then out to traders and the like. And when I look at the observability stack that we need to help them to manage and monitor what's going on in that network, there's a lot going on. You have a lot of data, you have a lot of money, and you have a lot of intrinsic value that's going on, and they really need to understand what's going on within the network. So from your experience, what do you see the things that they really care about, and how does cPacket help them to have an easier life?
Great. Well, certainly when I have the chance to talk to customers who fall into that financial services, trading, all of the brokerage houses, etc. I mean, obviously the big word is observability,
Yeah.
right? Many of them have added people into their teams or retitled individuals who want to focus on that. They're trying to look at that kind of holistic story
Mhm.
about network health and really understanding where things are going. And there are lots of parts, right, which we've spoken about in our little
Yeah.
discussions, which are kind of driving into that. And obviously, they're going out, they're looking to bring in the best vendors into their environments to be able to deliver on these observability goals. And that's a great opportunity for us, and it's a great opportunity to have a conversation. So you've got, like the microbursts that
Yes.
we
Yeah.
spoke a long time ago, and obviously that also dovetails into your AI networks. You've got things like the market data,
Yep.
whether it's individual protocols or looking at really the overall health of those connections, lost
Yep.
packets, latencies, all of those kinds of pieces, and making sure that at each stage of these very large, extensive, often global networks, that they're able to really see,
Yep.
from each of those monitoring points, what's going, what's going on. Just taking multi-second statistic values and all the rest of it with all of its averaging is never going to
No.
be enough
No.
for those kinds of businesses. They need precision, they need time stamping, they need to be able to sync it to a BPS
Yeah.
stream. I mean, there's so many different things that are driving that overall observability goals, understanding how particular slices of their networks are working
Mhm.
at any given
Yeah,
point.
and
It's a critical point.
yeah, and it's important to understand that it's not just so that they can see what's going on for the sake of it. There are a whole suite of reasons why they need that access. You've got local regulations that say you have to
Yes.
record everything. They also are, capturing a lot of that data and using it, and we've talked about this in the past, for replaying the data to tune algorithms. So their trading
Yes.
algorithms and their network optimization, all of that has to be done. And you can't really do that on a live network during the middle of a trading day. So there are a whole load of reasons why, they have to have this observability, this replayability, this guaranteed quality of services. And not to mention, you've got KPIs. That's a lot of these financial exchanges and services. They have KPIs with their customers that say, thou shalt not drop this many packets. Thou shalt, guarantee to have the same latency between, X trader and Y trader. So they have to be able to both capture that information, log it all, and then be able to provide that back at an observability level, not just oh well, yeah, we can guarantee that it's okay. You have to be able to prove that everything is good, that everything is, within tolerances and within these key values and these key specifications that have been agreed, because money's involved.
Yeah.
Ultimately they're being paid for a service, they're being paid for, delivering a certain quality, and if they can't deliver that or prove that they've delivered that, then obviously they get large churn over and churn and various other things.
Yeah, no, I think you've just said a very important word there. I know that we as cPacket like to talk about our three Ps and
Yeah,
four Ps, all that stuff, and you've just added another one called prove.
yeah. Packet
But
precision performance
the
proof.
no no but the point is it's kind of a bit of a smile, but it is so
Yeah,
it's so critical, whether that be reporting that can be shared, live dashboards
yeah,
looking at health and latencies, and you touched on something that's really critical, the idea that if you're dealing with these large organizations, they're feeding data out to many kind of subsidiaries, or kind of smaller organizations, or different types of companies, and everything has got to be within very narrow tolerances of
yeah,
where that information is being released down to, kind of millisecond type levels.
yeah,
And all of this together really adds to the pressure on these teams that are tasked with making this happen
yeah,
and making sure that that information is shared. So it's, as I say, it comes back to that big word, observability, which I assume we'll probably be using a few times, talking about use cases
yeah,
and blocks of customers and things like that. But specifically in the context of financial services, it's really around health. It's really around making sure that everything is where it should be, and more importantly, when it should
yes,
be,
yeah,
and trying to make sure that we can get things like latencies, like microbursts, like market data, both
yeah.
specific protocols as well as just looking at the kind of the
Multicast,
connection
yeah, the
health,
multicast connection, etc.
multicast, and all of that
Yeah,
stuff is really the bit
yeah,
that is the goal of cPacket.
yeah,
That's our goal. But obviously, ultimately the goal of the customer is to make sure that they're offering their customer
yeah,
the most kind of how is it guaranteed performance. It
yeah,
gets into a bit of a complicated word there, but at least being able to understand exactly the nuances of the
yeah,
connection, and if something changes or links go down, or certain streams are slow or overusing the systems,
yeah,
all of this stuff, all of these different pieces that the teams that we have the privilege of working with, as well as I'm sure many across the whole industry, are trying to constantly keep these things
yeah,
in balance, whether it be WAN connectivity, looking at the ability for future growth, whether it be LAN connections, making sure the A side and the B side are really all driving at the same
yeah.
performance levels. It's all about having that overall observability system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, it's really important that a lot of the times we talk about, fault finding, finding the issue, and actually a lot of the times that's not really what people are looking for. When you're looking for an observability solution, it's not just about incident detection. It's about, maintaining compliance, conformance, all these kind of
Yeah.
other things that need to go on within the network. So no, great discussion. Yeah, very useful. I think hopefully people, if you're in the financial services and you want to talk about network observability, Ian and myself are here, happy to have a discussion with you guys,
Yes.
and talk to you about some of our successes and some of our deployments that we've done. So yeah, more than happy to have those, and we can dig into some of those specific use cases. So no, as always, good discussion, Ian. Thank you very much for your time. Again, I'd like to just thank everybody for watching, and again, look and like and subscribe down below. It always helps us. Good to get the metrics, and you guys can get notified on new videos and videos as we send them out. So again, thank you everybody for watching. I have been Andy,
I've been Ian.
and we'll speak to you again soon.
Bye for now.